Hi guys, got a little project to do here. I think I've shown you this 3D printed catamaran I did a little while back. Got two holes in the back for two motors. Yeah, what I want to do is take the bits out of this Chinese junk, which was one of those foam 3D kits that you put together. This is paper covered foam. And it did look quite nice actually when I'd finished it. And then somebody suggested putting a motor in it, which I did. I used the parts out of a one of those wall climbing cars. It's infrared controlled. That's the infrared sensor. And it runs two motors. In fact, it runs three motors, but we only use two of them. Which are those two down there, which I've put little propellers on, tiny little propellers made from a bit of bent aluminium from a drinks can, I think, something like that anyway. And believe it or not, they do actually work quite well. They look awful, but they were good enough to make this go along in the bath. It's got LEDs on it as well, because the car used to light up the red lights at the back when it went backwards and white lights at the front when it goes forwards, I think, something like that. To keep it in the water at the right level, I added this old hinge, or hasp I think you call it. Should have a padlock on it. That was just for weight, to hold it down in the water, otherwise it was too high up. Anyway, plan is take all this back out of here and see if we can feed those motors down into there. I think I've measured them right. We'll find out in a minute. And see if we can have a little, well, infrared controlled, remote controlled catamaran. Now, if the quality of the video is good enough, you can actually see I used a really awful brush, paintbrush, to put varnish on here. It's got all bits in it. But I'm not going to worry about that. You probably can't see it if you haven't got 4K resolution or something anyway. So yeah, that's all we're going to do. Try and put that into there and see if it works. First thing we'll be trying to get all the bits out of here. It's hot glued together, I think. Yeah, so I should be able to use some alcohol to get it off. Yeah, surgical spirit I'm using here. Rubbing alcohol, methylated spirits. This is some old stuff. Used to be my mother-in-law's. Expiry date 07/2005. But I'm slowly using it up. I'll have to buy some at some time to prevent bed sores and hardening of the skin. Right, the idea is that it actually works its way under the hot glue. It actually gets in behind it and loosens it. And once it's got behind it and loosened it, the hot glue's got nothing to hold on to and it gives way. It's actually the, there we go, that's come apart nicely. Right, now the bits we want to be careful with, because they're very thin wires, and if you pull the wires out of the motors, you're completely stuck. See if we can get those little propellers off for now. I might 3D print some little propellers. Right, is this going to come loose? Oh yes. At least part of it did. It's just gripping on a little bit. It's one of the advantages of using hot glue, is you can get it off again, it's temporary. Whereas when you start using super glue and resin, that doesn't want to give way. Right, that one's free. That one's free. So there we are. That's our bits and pieces. So first thing I'm going to check. A little bit big. Have to drill those out. That's annoying. I thought I'd got the dimensions right. Okay. So I'll have to drill those out a bit. Well, they slipped into place nicely. Not sure what to do with the LEDs. Really doesn't matter. So we'll have them on there. Probably a little bit of hot glue just to hold them in place. And I might give the receiver a coat of nail varnish. Now, I did have some clear nail varnish, but I can't find it on my desk. If you've been following my recent videos, you'll know that I've been trying to tidy up my workroom and my desk, but I got the floor clear, but the desk is still covered. So, got some nail varnish here. Bought for this purpose, but after I bought this, I then managed to get some clear stuff. The idea is it just helps waterproof the circuit board. It can't do a perfect job because this one is clearly not designed to be waterproof. But it might save a little bit. Because I can't waterproof that switch. If you're wondering what type of nail varnish it is, I think it was just the cheapest stuff I could see in Poundland. Best we can hope for is it just protects it from the odd splash rather than surviving underwater for a long period of time. But it should stop water short-circuiting between the tags on the chips and that sort of thing. So can't do anything about the on-off switch. If I waterproof that, it won't work. So we'll leave that and we'll come back in a little while. Thought I'd better put a battery on it just to check it still works. And just so you can see, forwards, white lights, backwards, red lights, right, one pair, left, the other pair. So that works. I've just found that this controller is one of those ones I need to print a backplate for. So that'd be another little job sometime. I just tucked the LEDs inside the bodywork. So just to keep them out of the way. So we'll see if it works. Well, it's in there. Whoa. Oh, one of the propellers has come off straight away. Good start, because I only pushed those original ones back on again. They're not glued in place or anything. Back again, I've printed some propellers for it. Had a lot of trouble printing, but I've got 2 propellers in the end, and they do work. Although I have made a little discovery, I've got the motors in the wrong sides. Left and right is wrong. If I get forwards and backwards right, left and right is wrong. So forwards is all right. But I have to go left to go right. Which is alright, as long as I remember that. But it's as simple as I put the motors in the wrong side. I thought I'd got the propellers reversed, but it isn't. I've got the motors on the wrong side. So that should be turning right and it's turning left. And that should be turning left and it's turning right. If I go reverse, it's not very good. Oh no, that did all right then. That's because I was gentle. Good job I waterproofed that controller. The back's underwater at the moment. Still, that works. I'll have to remember to put a little clip at the end there so you know what I'm talking about when I say wall climbing cars. Because that's where all the bits have come from. Those wall climbing cars. I'm surprised how well that does go in reverse actually. Oh, underwater though. Like I say, good job I waterproofed it. Yeah, it's sinking a bit at the back now. It's not going to sink totally because those are sealed pontoons at the front. So they've got air in them. Yeah, that'll do. That works. Pleased with that. Right, that's the propellers I printed for him. Got a bit of hair on that one. Or something. Yeah, the pitch is much higher than I wanted it to be. But if I printed it with a lower pitch, it would struggle because of the overhang when you're 3D printing. I could sort out the left-right just by desoldering the wires and swapping them over, and then it'll all be right again. So, there we go. That's our, oh, get it back in focus again. There we are. That's our 3D printed catamaran using the parts from a wall climbing car. While we're up here, because my printer is in my workroom, I'll just show you I'm printing a back cover for this thing, because that's missing. Using up that pink filament that I've got that's awful, causes me all sorts of problems. The front's actually lifted up. Never mind, I'll have soon used it all up and I can use the other stuff then. Before I forget, these are those wall climbing cars. They turn up quite often in charity shops without the controllers or broken one way or the other. There you go, that one was 50 pence. 50p. And they have 3 motors in them, one for each wheel because they've only got 2 drive wheels, but they're independently controlled, and another one for the fan in the middle there. So 3 motors, they run on a small LiPo battery, and they're infrared controlled. Now you can just about see the lift motor, I suppose you could call it, or the vacuum motor through there. So yeah, they turn up quite often, so quite often I buy them, especially if they're at 50p. And quite often my controllers match them, because I've got quite a few controllers that go with them as well. So when it comes to buying infrared controlled toys, I usually say don't buy them because you can never get a matching controller. But these ones seem to be an exception. I seem to be lucky with them. So there. That's what's in there. Thanks for watching. There's always more information down in the video description. And if you like this video, you might like this one up here. And you might like to have a look at my channel over here, see what else I do. Thank you for watching.